Hello everyone, this is Neha Tulsyan from Crescent Creation. Welcome to Lawn Fawn Fans Fall Hop. Yes, it's that time of the year where few of us lawn fawn crazy crafters come together to share some really fun inspirations using lawn fawn products. We do this hop every quarter and we also have some fun giveaway which I will talk about later in this video. And for my video, I created this fun slimline interactive card using all the penguins from Lawn Fawn, and they're having their own Halloween party here. There are also few glow-in-the-dark elements on this card, which I think really adds to the whole design. So let's get started. I'm going to quickly show you all the stamp sets that I used to create this card. The first one here is the fox costume before and after. Next is Happy Holidays stamp set. Next I used the penguin party stamp set, which is a new stamp set, and most of my penguins on this card comes from this set. Next I used is the Purrfectly Wicked stamp set. Then I also used Booyah to dress up all my penguins. And lastly I used Here We Go Waddling to add one more penguin to the scene. Here I have pre-stamped all my images on a white cardstock using Copic friendly ink. And for the top of the cauldron, I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss the bubble image from Purrfectly Wicked stamp set using glow-in-the-dark embossing powder from Lawn Fawn. Tiny details like this adds a lot of interest to your card. Next, I'm stamping a spectacular sentiment on the wooden board that one of the penguin is holding. I just thought it's a really cute image and I wanted to add it to my scene. This sentiment is from the fox costumes before and after stamp set. I'm also stamping the sentiment Amazing from the same stamp set on that signboard there. So these two sentiments will actually become the part of my main sentiment, which you will see later in this video. Now I'm going to go ahead and color all my images. I'm going to use Copic markers to color these images, and I'm going to put some music for you to enjoy the coloring. I've mostly used warm grays and cool grays for most of my coloring today, and to add some color to the whole card I have added mostly purples and some oranges here and there. The Copic markers used will be listed all on the screen. So here I'm done coloring and I have die cut all my images off camera. And now I'm going to go ahead and dress up all my penguins using all the costume images that I have here. For my first penguin, I'm dressing it like a bat. So there goes the top hat, and now I'm adding the wings. All these hats that I'm adding to my penguins today are a little bigger for the penguins. So instead of cutting them out, I'm actually folding them over. I think that gives a more neater look than just trimming those excess out. You tell me, what look will you prefer? Do you prefer trimming the excess out, or you think the folding over idea is better? So here for my second penguin, I'm creating it as a witch. So here I just glued on the hat, and now I'm adding glue on both ends at the back of the hat, and I'm just folding it over. Then I'll add a little bit of glue to one of his hands and glue down the spoon. For my little penguin here, I'm again adding a small witch hat to it. And then for my next guy, I'm creating it as a pirate. So I'm adding an eye patch, and I'm folding over the excess eye patch at the back of the penguin. I'm also going to go ahead and glue the hook on one of his hands. All these costume images are from the Booyah Stamp set, except for that little witch hat, which is from Fox Costumes Before and After. And here this little guy did not dress up for Halloween. He is just fishing because he was very hungry and he could not find any fish. So now that all the images are ready, I have to work on my background. So here I have this white panel that measures 3 inches by 8 inches, and I am using some hillside border dye from Lawn Fawn. I have die cut some snow hills for my background. And here I have another white panel that measures 3 inches by 8 inches, and now I'm inking up the sky using my Distress Oxide inks. I'm using Wilted Violet, Blueprint Sketch and Black Soot Distress Oxide inks here. I'm inking only top half of this panel because I'm gonna add snow hills at the bottom of this panel. I started with Wilted Violet Distress Oxide ink, and then I came in with Blueprint Sketch and inked up the full top panel. I blended both the colors, and now I'm using Black Soot Distress Oxide ink and adding color to the edges of the panel to create a nighttime look. I'm going back and forth between the colors to get a good blend, and once I'm done inking the background, I'm going to go ahead and bring the Starry Sky stencil and add glow in the dark stencil paste to add stars to my sky. I've added a thin layer of paste here, and now I have removed my stencil, cleaning the edges, and I'll keep it aside to dry. Don't forget to clean your stencil once you're done. Off camera, I have die cut these pieces out of pull tab die from Lawn Fawn, and here I'm gluing 2 of these pull tab die cuts together to make it more strong. I always use 2 of these together because this is the one that's gonna get pulled quite a lot, so you want to make sure that it is nice and strong. And here I'm just folding over the score lines that the die creates, and then I'm gonna go ahead and bring my bucket of fish image, which is from the Happy Holidays stamp set. This is gonna get glued on this mechanism, so I have to trim that bottom piece to size with my bucket of fish image. So the scene is like they are having a Halloween party, but this little guy at the very bottom does not want to dress up for Halloween, and he is just hungry and he is looking for some fish. So he's fishing, and the witch penguin on the top is actually brewing some fishes. And our little penguin witch knows some magic, it seems, and she has brewed some fishes, and that's what this whole scene is all about. So here I have done trimming off that pull tab piece, and now I'm working on my background. Here I'm just going ahead and gluing all my snow hills down using some double-sided tape. Off camera, I've also added some color to these hills using Wilted Violet and Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide inks. I have only inked the top part of these hills to give them more of a snow look. And here I'm just gluing them together, and it was very easy to put them together. Since they were die cut out of one piece, they just fit like a puzzle there. Gluing down my last piece here. Next I'm going to go ahead and do some die cutting on this piece for my pull tab mechanism. So here I have just laid down all my pieces to see where my pull tab mechanism will go. And once I know where to place my dies, I'll go ahead and tape it down, move all the images, and go ahead and pass this piece through my die cutting machine. I'm also placing this second die on top of this panel that cuts out this U shape from where the pull tab mechanism can be pulled in and out. So passing this through my die cutting machine, and once done, I'll remove both my dies. I'm going to go ahead and keep this U-shaped die cut safely for use later. Here I'm just using my sand eraser to remove any excess glue that was left behind by the post-it tape. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on my pull tab mechanism. I'm passing my pull tab through this notch that I just die cut. Once it's in place, I'll go ahead and glue my bucket of fish using some liquid glue. You want to use any strong glue that you have in hand. Even double-sided tape will work, but I prefer using liquid glue. Just make sure you don't use a lot of liquid glue, because if the glue oozes out, everything will stick and the pull tab mechanism will not work. checking if everything is working. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some powder using my anti-static powder tool for the free flow of the mechanism. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add this tab at the back of the pull tab. This tab makes sure that the pull tab mechanism stays in place and it does not move or wiggle too much. Once done, I'll go ahead and check everything out. I do that almost at every step to make sure that my pull tab mechanism is still working. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue the cauldron in place. I'm using very thin double-sided foam tape and adding that to the very edges of the cauldron. This just gives the cauldron a little bit of lift so that the pull tab mechanism can work properly. And you want to make sure that you're not adding a lot of foam tape because you don't want your bucket of fish getting stuck with the foam tape. Once I've glued it in place, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that my pull tab is still working, and yes, it is. Next, I'm going to go ahead and trim off the excess pull tab. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue that U piece that we die cut earlier from this panel. I'm also gluing a white arrow that I die cut out of white cardstock for the recipients to know that this is a pull tab and you can pull in and out. Once this is done, now it's time to adhere all the images. The top two images are glued using some liquid glue and rest of the images are all glued using some foam tape. Now, while I'm gluing these images, I can talk about the giveaway. The sponsor for this hop is Lawn Fawn itself. Lawn Fawn is giving away a $25 shopping spree to their store to one lucky winner. All you have to do is like and comment on all the stops and consider subscribing to each of our YouTube channels. The winner will be announced on October 23rd on our social media platforms. So here I'm done gluing all my images and I have added lots of foam tape around my pull tab mechanism. And now I'm gluing this panel to a purple cardstock that measures 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 inches. So I get a beautiful purple border all around. Next, I'll go ahead and glue this complete panel to a white card base that measures 8 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches. Next, I'm using a C2 Copic marker and adding shadows beneath all these images to give this scene a little more depth. Now for my sentiment, I'm white heat embossing the sentiment "Hope Your Day Is" on the same purple cardstock using some white embossing powder from Lawn Fawn. I'll heat set it off camera and then trim it off using my Beary trimmer. Trim off one of the ends of the strip using my scissors at an angle, and then I'll go ahead and glue this sentiment strip using some liquid glue. For the inside of my card, I'm stamping the sentiment "Happy Halloween" using Blueprint Sketch and Wilted Violet Distress Oxide inks. And that finishes my card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. The link to the next person in the hop is in the description box below. Don't forget to hop along and comment on each stop for a chance to win the giveaway. Here are a few more videos that you might like to watch. Thank you for visiting. Have a nice day.